Where they at?
Step in the elevator.
Stuck in the elevator. I was yesterday, trying to break down. You jump, huh? You jumping on the elevator? No, it's just running the brakes. Guys, I mean, like, unique story.
Yeah.
All right, I'll call this meeting to order at 5 p.m. All right, Administrative Assistant Briscoe, can you release the lights on? When I'm going to roll call, Attorney General Ryan. President Copeland, Vice President Edwards, Treasurer Correa,
President.
Chief of Staff Moody, Director Abdul, Director Willem, Assistant Director, I'm sorry, Director Johnstone, Director Cunningham, Assistant Director Battle, Director Traore,
President.
Assistant Director Perry, Director Ramos, Director Thaxton, Assistant Director Edwards, Director Thomas, Assistant Director Dawson, Director Sutton, Director Howard, Director Onwanga, Assistant Director Pinckney, Assistant Director Sani, Director Ramdial,
President.
Assistant Director Coleman,
President.
Director Malash, Director Carr, Assistant Director Ajayi, Representative James, Representative Intuzel, Representative Moore, Representative Thompson,
President.
Representative McCauley, President Pro Tem, the Washington Mayor, Governor, Appropriations Chair Adesanya, Senator Bernini, Senator Brown, Senator Crosby,
President.
Senator Dengler,
President.
Senator Duru Onumoto,
President.
Senator Dobbin,
President.
Senator Hicks,
President.
Senator McGuire,
President.
Senator Moore, Senator Robinson, Senator Sedgwick, Senator White, Chief Justice McNeil, Deputy Chief Justice Adenike, Justice Brown, Solicitor General Brown, Justice Chin, Justice Bennett, Justice Olenaya. Thank you. We have the approval of minutes. All of the testimony on the SharePoint. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Senator Crosby.
Motion to strike communication.
Is there a second? Perfect. We'll now move to a vote to strike communication. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Which as this communication vote we struck from the agenda today. Are there any other members to the agenda? Great, we do not have any guest speakers today. Just a delegate. All right, well, next thing is Senator Hicks.
I'm to unstrike, President Colquitt's and civic engagements communications.
Is there a second? To the other side. All right, with that, we'll now move to a vote to unstrike President Colquitt and Director Johnston. Communications from the agenda. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? With that, the motion passes and President Colquitt and Director Johnston's communications will be allowed. Are there any other members to the agenda? Advisor Harris.
Hey, y'all. It sounds like y'all are ready to get out of this space, maybe? Your agenda is dictated by your governing action, so this is just a note to all of you. Striking communications and then voting to just bring back particular communications removes the opportunity for people to share about what's happening in SGA. So in the future, you might not strike the time where people who are not senators actually have time to speak to SGA and the student body. I yield.
Are there any other members to the agenda? Great. Well, now we move to guest speakers. We don't have any today, so we'll get into public participation. So anybody in the gallery? Nope. All right. We'll now move into President Colquitt's remarks.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and happy Tiger Tuesday. I'll try to be brief. I did send an email Monday morning, but in case anyone in the room didn't read the email, I'll briefly, I'll just read the email that I sent regarding AG Missouri's resignation. I hope you all had a great weekend. I write this email to share that Attorney General of Missouri has resigned effective Friday, April 21st. Pursuant to Article 2, Section 16 of the SJ Constitution, Government Operations Chair Ryan will serve as acting attorney until I appoint a new one confirmed before the Senate. Due to Chair Ryan's track record and proven abilities, I'm appointing him as permanent Attorney General for the remainder of the 102nd administration, pending your confirmation during tonight's assembly. Chair Ryan is well prepared and excited to take on this role as we close out an amazing year. I'm happy to answer any questions you all may have. As for the Government Operations Committee, we'll also be holding an election for new Government Operations Chair tonight that the Student Senate will vote on. Hopefully we can get both of these done tonight and continue operation as usual to continue our work to improve Towson universities. In addition, I have a couple of other reminders for you all. Next week, May 2nd, our GA will not be happening. We'll be in here. It is a mandatory event with the Alumni Relations Office. We'll have the past 5 boards of the Alumni Association present for a networking event. So just a good opportunity for you all to get in front of some alumni that can connect you to jobs and such. We'll also be filming our end of the year videos on Thursday and Friday. Simi will be sending out, Assistant Director Sonia will be sending out a sign up genius if you'd like to be featured in that video. And with that, are there any questions? Director Ambial?
Is next week still business casual?
Yes, it's a networking thing, so you want to go professionally, so yes. Are there any other questions? Yeah. I am so sorry to remember the week. We did vote on one in the board meeting, but due to communications being struck, I was not prepared to present. However, the week, however, they are worthy of recognition. They worked really hard this year and have worked in multiple roles within SGA just to support all of our members and to hold us as an executive board as well as the entire organization accountable. So thank you so much for all your hard work and congratulations, Solicitor General Brown.
All right, so I'm gonna be real quick about this. It's just about the big event that is happening this Saturday. Everyone should have applied and should have gotten an email saying when they have to show up. please make sure to show up early. They are gonna provide us with breakfast and all that good stuff, and it's always good to just get a head count. So please arrive by like 8:30 in the morning on Saturday. And just answer a few questions. If you have to leave early, you cannot go to the event. We will be transported via bus, and we cannot allow other like people to get there via car or anything like that, just for the head count purposes and all that good stuff. So if you have to leave the event early, I would recommend signing off now, because if you don't sign off by, I think tomorrow, you have to pay a fee. That is $28. So, need to keep our pocket full. And yeah, so we will be going by bus, cannot take car. And we'll be transported to a off-campus location. We are still not quite sure where the off-campus location is going to be. They're waiting to get a final head count before assigning us somewhere. So when that comes out, I will definitely let you guys know. But are there any other questions about the big events or anything? Okay, thank you.
All right, are there any motions on the floor? Appropriations Chair Lasagna.
I move to review resolution 35.
There's something on the. for that?
Point of order.
Appropriations Chair nominations.
Point of order, you're not the same. Point of order, the motion on the floor.
To address the question, it's not the same thing. But there's.
I take it back. Okay, never mind.
You can continue, you can continue.
Okay.
Does anyone second?
Second.
Okay, with that one, I'm moving to our vote on reviewing resolution number 535. Oh, she didn't do that. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstaining? That would now begin to review resolution number 35. So resolution number 35 is the legislation that's addressing the vacancy in the government operations position, which will be now begin nominations for. So would anyone like to nominate themselves for?
Yeah.
Oh,
Point of order,
I know.
point of order, point of order.
Senator White.
So we need to make a motion to add that to the bill. That has not been written out to the bill before we add it. So you just kind of put in and said that we're doing the.
No. Point of order. I made an error in the bill. I was under the impression that we were going to do operations first, but we're not. So we're going to review resolution number 35 as a whole, as motion stated.
So point of information that we're not.
No,
We're not reviewing and voting on governmental ops for the.
Not right now. We're reviewing resolution number 35 as the motion stated. Thank you. So as we said, so this will be to confirm Edwin Ryan's as Attorney General. So Eddie, would you please come to the front and state why you want to be?
How y'all doing today? So when I was approached by someone on the impeachment process or the resignation of former Attorney General Omosoré, honestly, I was, a little shocked. I didn't really know the next steps. But then I looked in the Constitution, I saw that the government operations chair is the next person up. And as soon as I saw that, I suddenly got on myself. I tried to prepare myself as much as I could, look through the Constitution, look through all the standards and procedures that the Attorney General does handle, and I familiarized myself with them to a great deal. Of course, I'm still getting help from my e-board members and everyone who can help me and assist me in this. But I'm prepared to do all I can as Attorney General and take that next step. Of course, with it only being 3 weeks left in the semester, nothing will change. All procedures and standard practices will remain the same. And I just hope that at the end of the year.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? All right, thank you. Step out briefly and vote in delivery.
Pretty good around.
Are there any other motions on the floor? Senator Crosby? Motion to review government operations chair nominations. Is anyone second? Senator Damon?
Second.
With that, we're now moving to a vote on reviewing government operations chair nominations. All those in favor? Hands up. Opposed? Abstaining? With that, the motion has passed, and we will now begin to review government operations chair nominations. Would anyone nominate themselves for the position of government operations chair? Senator Crosby. Anyone else? You can nominate yourself as well. And other people.
You just need a second.
There's no second for nominations. You just nominate yourself or other people. Would anyone want to nominate themselves or anybody else for the position of government operations chair? Operations chair Lasagna. Senator Sedgwick, do you accept the nomination?
We're of order. We're of order. You,
Senator White.
first off, who's been nominated on
So Senator Crosby was the first nomination. I'm asking if anyone else have any other nominations would like to nominate anybody else.
and has that been properly seconded? Because you do need a second for a nomination.
He nominated himself.
So you need a second. A second.
So is there any other nomination? Director Cunningham?
Can I nominate, Senator Moore?
Senator Moore, do you accept the nomination?
Yeah.
Point of order, friend, only Senate can participate in this process.
Oh. But
This is a Senate position.
what information of Advisor Harris, can other people from other positions nominate people in the Senate?
Jay Board,
That's how we usually have done it.
Point of
do
information.
your governing documents say that?
Point of order.
Senator White?
Pursuant to the standing rules of order, only members of the Senate can make nominations, non-voting members of the Senate. And that is in the.
Can you represent in the standing rules of order?
I don't know,
What reference it?
I don't know exactly where it's at, but.
Okay. Leadership Branch, can you please represent in SRO? Correct? Okay. Appropriations Chair Lasagna?
I nominate Senator Sedgley.
Senator Sedgwick, do you accept? Are there any more nominations? Vice President Edwards? Actually. Any more nominations?
I withdraw mine at this time.
Okay. If there are no more nominations, I'm going to ask that Senator Crosby, Senator Moore, and Senator Sedgwick please line up to present what they want to be government operations chair. Everyone give them a round of applause. Good to go. Yes.
Hold on. Let me get that mic.
Someone pass the Senate for justice. I'm gonna microphone.
So yes, it's all the senators can make nominations. Oh, and if members of the, or non-senators want staff to have a senator, they make it on their behalf.
Okay, so for Senator Moore, since he was nominated for, can someone from the Senate please nominate her, she can accept or you decline? Okay. Thank you.
So Senator Crosby, please take it away. Hope everybody's having a good day. So even though we only have a few weeks left in this administration, I know there's still work to be done within Senate leadership. And as an experienced legislation writer, I can confidently say I'm more than able to continue the great work Attorney General Rines has put in for this committee. From working with our directors and going to exit with Director Sutton, to collaborating with our executive board to fighting for student resources on campus, even helping policy legislation for our Senate. I've had my hand in almost every aspect of SGA. And I would just like to step up one last time for you all in closing out the great administration and being Senate leadership. Senator Sedgwick.
Good afternoon. I was nominated for the position. I'm already vice chair and I've had experience in GovOps both semesters. So this is something I already know how to do. I already have a built rapport with all the senators in the committee. So I feel like I'm the best person for this role because I already know what goes on. I already know how to run a meeting. I've been in the meeting with two different GovOps chairs both times. So that's it.
Thank you. Oh, was there any questions? Senator White. We'll pass on White.
This is a question for both of you. When we are reviewing bills and GovOps committees, what are the three things that we are looking for in the bills when we review them?
Senator Crosby, or who wants to go first to that question? One of the things we're looking for is punctuational errors, making sure that its actual punctuation is correct. Make sure that it doesn't have any redundancies in our governing documents, and a third, that is in the correct format. Senator Sedgwick?
I was gonna say the same thing, grammatical errors, making sure everything's in the right place. Like you said, redundancies, everything like that.
Any more questions for Senator Sedgwick or Senator Crosby? Okay, thank you. Give him a round of applause. Would anyone to speak on Senator Sedgwick's or Senator Crosby's behalf? Behind my voice. Rory votes. Are there any other motions on the floor? Senator Dingley. I motion to review resolution 36. Does anyone second? Senator Hicks. With that, we'll now begin to review resolution number 36. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstaining? With that, the motion is,
I vote yes, I didn't know they were going.
with that, the motion has passed, and we now begin to review resolution number 36. Adrian Davis, if you come to the front and explain why you'd like to be Solicitor General, Deputy Solicitor General. Moving on to the front.
Everybody, my name is Adrian, I'm a junior. I think the Student Government Association is a very integral part of campus. It serves as a mouthpiece for somebody and implementing changes or initiatives that want to make campus better. This being my third year here at Towson, I've seen it in many forms, from the COVID year to the transitionary period of hybrid learning, and now back to in-person with the robust campus activities and investments in body. I will be very honored to be part of Towson University Student Government Association as it currently stands and any form that we take. I promise to be an asset to this team, work effectively, and aim to successfully help my team achieve our goals. I'm wholly dedicated to working with my team to interpret any of the governing documents to the best of my ability. Thank you all for being here, and I would love to welcome as a newly confirmed Deputy Solicitor General. I can't wait to work alongside all of you.
Do you have any questions for Adrian? All right, thank you. Could you step out while we briefly deliberate? Thank you, Justice Chen. Adrian Davis, you're now Deputy Solicitor General. Are there any other motions on the floor? Senator Crosby. Motion to inquire about resolution 37. Anyone second? Senator Donovan.
A second.
Okay, with that, we'll now move to a vote on acquiring on resolution number 37. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstaining? With that, we'll now begin to inquire on resolution number 37. Senator Crosby, could you please take the floor? Oh, Government Operations Chair Crosby, excuse me.
Okay, trying to make it brief. So this resolution is concerning student employees on campus. So my idea was to have student employees be included in the demographic that have priority course selection. That demographic currently consists of student athletes, Army ROTC, and students with disabilities that they apply to get the special access. So they have about, I think Ms. Carolyn said the number is about 4,000 student employees, and that would be too much to have special access to course selection. So what me and a few people thought of would be to have a minimum of 10 hours worked per week in your job. You would be allowed to pick courses early. And the reason for that is a lot of the jobs on campus are really like, you need to be there on certain days to even work the job. And you shouldn't be like, not be able to get the job if you can to because of a course schedule. So hopefully I explained that clearly and I'll give them a little run around. Any questions?
Director Romeo?
So is it 10 hours worked for one job, or if it's like 5 hours in 2 different jobs? Not 2 jobs. I mean, I still hit my 10, but I was just wondering.
I think that would fall underneath it. The way I would envision the process going is the way that you apply, if you have a disability, you submit your application to get the course selection early. So essentially you'll be submitting whatever your documents is saying that you worked those 10 hours. So I guess that would fall underneath that.
I don't know if this will be a question, but I know for student employees, they typically work around that's the reason why a lot of people decide to work on campus is because they will be willing to work around your schedule. So is this like really needed if people already are working around that?
I mean, I know some jobs do. I know my job does, but I also know some other jobs that I couldn't get just because I need to be available on set specific days. Especially if people already are in, this is really concerning people who are in those positions. Like if you have to be available Monday and you get a class that you just are stuck with on a Monday, now you lose that job, you really shouldn't.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Any more questions? Deputy Justice Abednego?
I'm not used to like this student employee thing. Do you get your schedule ahead of the next semester or do you like find out on that semester itself? I mean, it depends on the job. So my job, I get my schedule sent out to me beforehand, and then I have to let my manager know if I can and can't work those days. They're really just on a job to job basis.
Senator White?
So how will this affect the current students that have priority selection? They already have priority selection, so they just continue to have it.
President Copeland? So you said the 4,000 numbers for all student employees. Do you happen to know how many student employees that are that currently work over 10 hours? Because if it's like an exhaustive number, I would also worry again to the senator's point.
I don't have a set number for that, but I can track it down.
I'm just curious. Thank you. Senator Hicks.
Oh, that's all right.
So I think what Stephen was trying to say is like, is it really priority if everybody has it? I know it's not everybody, but like, if we're just increasing the number by so much, is it still priority for like athletes and like our students?
I mean, I definitely still think it is just because the number of athletes, number of ROTC, I feel like that number will still be bigger. Tracking down the number, like President Copeland said, if that number is too big, I mean, I personally wouldn't still move on with it. But if student employee number is already at 4,000, I'm already knowing that the number of athletes on campus is surpassing that. So hopefully, once I track down the number, that number wouldn't really alter. Like it would be allowing the people. Plus, this is really targeting people who've already worked. It's not just new employees who get a job and then all of a sudden get priority. If you work that prior semester, then you would get added into not just anybody who has a job.
Senator Damon.
All of like the priority students, they pick class at the same time, right? Or is it kind of like waves, like how the other ones are?
So it is, what you saying? I yield to Senator McGuire.
So the process is they are separate times. I believe athletics is first at 7:30 in the morning, and then it's veterans, disabilities, and then I think it's also, if you're a dual major, you get a little bit higher priority. And then it's also what's it called? Anyways, it's all on the same day, so seniors are gonna register a day later than all the priority students.
So would it then be like students who qualify for this, they'd have like, maybe probably like that last wave of people that sign up that priority?
Yes. Dr. Son, you had your hand up. I believe. Pardon? Okay. Director Battle. Director Battle, please. Does this, do student employees also include like SGA members that are paid? Yes, paid SGA members are considered student employees on campus. Question. Director Johnson?
I'm just curious if you've talked to any admissions like staff about this or like enrollments about it or anything like that.
Nothing beyond getting a number for how many student employees it is. Senator White.
So based off of that answer, then you do not have any like rough estimate of how many will be added to the pool of current priority, that pool of priority students and how that would affect the current number that it is now. Because there is a lot of numbers, there's a lot of us in priority that, like me, because ADHD and stuff, there's a lot of us in that priority rank already. So do you have somewhat of research showing how this would affect this later on down the road?
Affects how, because this group will be getting added into the last wave of that priority selection. So that
Affect the demand of priority.
the demand of priority.
Demand of priority selection. You're adding is like. Because you're adding to priority selection already, so how would that affect possibly to that? If there's an effect at all?
I'm not really understanding your question, but I'm not seeing the effect if you want to enlighten me, but I'm not really understanding your question, the demand of the priority.
Do you yield to
I yield.
Representative
Yeah.
Anderson?
Okay, so maybe not the exact same point that Senator Webb was trying to get across, but I know for some groups that do have priority registration, such as disability, things like that. Registration in general is a really big struggle, and figuring out scheduling and everything and trying to get enrolled in everything you need to. And you can't always register or enroll exactly at your priority wave. And a lot of students tend to take a little bit longer or even, closer to the regular enrollment period in order to enroll. And I believe that's more towards the point of how would that affect us being able to get into our classes if we have, issues that we run into in the process.
Director William.
Okay, so I just did some Googling because we were talking about like estimates, and then it took me to the Career Center page, and it has all the stats of like student workers. So it says that just this academic year, so fall 2022 and then now, they processed about 3,000 student employees, and the normal work week for the far majority of them is 10 to 20 hours. So when we're talking about student workers with a minimum of 10 hours, that's like all of them, including all those people in this room. So yeah, we were talking about hypothetical stats. It's literally just career center hiring student workers, towson.edu has all the information we'll need.
Director Cunningham. Pass the mic, please.
I guess my question is, what's kind of the correlation? I kind of disagree with some of the directors, like Director Ramio. Most student employees typically work like 8 to 10 on the minimum. So they also work around your schedule. So I just don't kind of get the point of us having early registration if they already work around your schedule and you get to pick your hours if you want more or less. A lot of jobs on campus also allow you to work on weekends, kind of like the gym. So I just kind of don't get the correlation. Maybe you can explain.
I mean, I understand. I mean, this was really targeted for people who have struggled, like maintaining a job if they can't work specific days. This is really for that. I mean, if you have that freedom, then I guess it doesn't apply to you. This really won't concern you. But I know there are people who can't work a job because of a schedule, inconvenience, or something like that. That was really who it was targeted towards.
Vice President Edwards.
Yeah, so I heard like a couple of points about like, people that don't necessarily use the priority when it's priority due to other reasons, like due to troubles like registering for classes and like that. But if students already have priority and they don't use their priority, we can't say, oh, because these students may not use their priority and register.
Point of
late.
order. That's not a question. We're in an inquiry session.
Yeah, a lot of
Point
the things that were said, is like, we're not just like
We're-
questions. No, I'm getting to my question. Set it up. Can I step in? Thank you. All right. So my question is, these people who we're gonna add, these student workers, these student employees, they're not going to be impeding, like they're not going to the front of the line. If student athletes are 7:30 a.m., these employees are not going to be at 7 a.m., right? Or they're going to be like 10 a.m. or like what is the time for that?
They would be after everybody who's already currently in priority selection for courses. So this wouldn't be hindering anybody else's time that they're usually taking at the priority selection.
Okay, so they're not hindering anybody else.
Correct.
Okay.
Representative McCauley. Don't pass on mic.
Yeah, so I guess would there be like a way in language policy wise, of course, to like specify more towards the individuals you're talking about, because it's obviously coming to light, and even in my experience that not all student staff like have that same restriction, but obviously there is a need amongst some. Do you think there's like some specifications we could get in for those staff who need it?
So kind of what I said earlier, it's really an application based, just like a lot of disability, they grant priority selection for courses. So my idea would be the same way for that. So it really isn't just granting if you work 10 hours across the board, you would still have to go and get it granted for you. So you would still have to submit your timesheet showing the need that you need this course priority. It's not just, oh, you work 10 hours in the system, you get priority. So like a lot of the people are saying, you can pick your hours, this just wouldn't apply to you.
General Brown.
So my question is for like, it's more of a point of clarification. So you mean jobs like how we have to be here at 5. If I have a class at 5, I really can't be a part of SGA, or how URG has meetings at 7. You mean jobs like that, correct?
Any job where you need to be available on set specific days and you have a class colliding with that, this would apply to someone like that. If you have the freedom to select your schedule,
this will not apply to you because you have the freedom to select your schedule.
So who would be, like accepting these applications and like going through them? Like, does that make it more work for someone or?
If they already have this process lined out for people with disabilities to apply, so I would assume it's the same admissions people taking in their applications.
Yeah, to my knowledge, and I'm in the early priority category, I don't think anybody in that category has to apply for the accommodation. So I think automatically, once you have an ADS accommodation, you automatically are priority. If you're Army, RTC, or veteran, you have the. So to answer Senator Hicks' question, I do think it would create a burden in terms of fielding all those applicants, and then in terms of equity, whose job is more important than another. And Director Wilhelm, Assistant Director Wilhelm shared earlier that this is like thousands of students that we could be opening up this opportunity to. I'm not against it. I just do worry about the burden it might put on the enrollment office that might already be.
Senator White. I'll pass my mic, please. So to echo a little bit, because I do have a question on top of this, the point of priority for students is because of a problem outside. It is a question. I'm getting there. Thank you. Is a problem outside of the university or outside something that housing can't control versus workers in their work environment or working for the university. So what is the point of this bill if Housing's higher ups have already said that they are able to edit worker schedules to classes? Versus the military who has said that you have to be here at this set location at this set time, or disability services who and students who have things or situations out of their control.
I guess I'll keep echoing the same consensus. Those courses, those jobs that allow you to pick your schedule and work around your schedule would not apply to them.
That's all of housing. That's all of housing workers.
But it's not. I wouldn't have voted.
Senator Entusu, go pass my mic, please.
Just a small point of clarity again on the strain that it would put on the current pool. I like the bill quite personally, and I think it's good for the jobs that, do have a necessity for it. But there is also a strain that it would potentially put on the people that do have it, depending on the numbers. Not because people are just shirking their priority registration, because when you get, your registration open, it's open until classes start. But there are, different times. So priority is a certain time, and then there's a waiting period between priority when it opens and regular registration when it opens. And the main concern then would be if someone doesn't, it would be like a race of who can register in that waiting period and how many people would be added to that race of trying to get into those classes. So I think depending on the numbers, again, if there's a way that wording can be clarified in the bill, it would be a lot better. And I think you have a good idea. It's just needs a little refinement.
Point of information to the chair, to the speaker. Ask a question at the end of your.
Thank you, Senator White. Correct. Please ask questions. I'll say that. Please ask questions. This is a point of inquiry session. Please ask questions. Advisor Harris. Thank you. Solicitor General Brown. Okay. Senator Sedgwick. I'd like to make a motion to end inquiry for resolution 37. Does anyone second?
I second on the motion.
With that, we're gonna begin to vote on ending the point of inquiry session for resolution number 37. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstaining? With that, the motion is passed and resolution 37 is finished for point of inquiry. Attorney General Ryan? Okay.
Just one quick announcement, for you, we meet tomorrow at 5:30, so thank you.
Birthday Cunningham?
It's TikTok Tuesday, so can I just have some of the senators and directors for our TikTok? Thank you.
Dr. Simon?
During the announcement portion,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine, please. Happy Fighting Tuesday, everyone. My Young Professionals panel is this Friday. I just wanted to spotlight some of the panelists that's gonna be there. So we have our vice president, he's gonna be representing legislative assistant, clap for him. We also have our own director of new student development, Mr. Heradia, as a nursing assistant. We also have a senator, we have Senator Brianna Hicks, who's representing makeup and hair. And we have our former Senator Sean Bell, and he's representing the Army. So yeah, so also I'll be meeting with all exit mentors at 3:30 on Thursday. I know it's usually Friday on Wednesdays, but Thursday this week. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Rambia?
Just remind y'all, please sign up for our kickball game. Woo-hoo, it's against Morgan State happening next week, Wednesday, 5 p.m. We also need 2 referees, so come support. It never happened before. Hopefully we win.
Senator Cedric?
Wait, where's that at?
It's gonna be at Townsend Townfield, so the one next to the garage across from Tucker Plaza, where the juice starting was.
Thank you. Oh, Senator Cedric?
I'll make like a motion to adjourn.
Does that go second? Senator Moore? Without we now move it, now we now begin to vote on the motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstaining?